garlic, nature's strongest medicine, or a hidden danger waiting in your kitchen. Hello, my friends. I'm truly glad you're here today, because what we're about to uncover might change the way you look at one of the oldest healing foods in history. For thousands of years, garlic has been praised as a miracle from nature, able to strengthen the heart, fight infection, and even slow aging. But here's the twist most people never hear. The same garlic sitting on your counter right now can turn from healing friend to dangerous foe if you make just a handful of simple mistakes. Recent studies reveal something shocking. Nearly 99% of older adults unknowingly prepare or eat garlic in ways that reduce its benefits, strain the liver, thin the blood to unsafe levels, or even block the very medications meant to protect their heart. In fact, researchers discovered that one single mistake can slash the effectiveness of certain heart medicines by over 50%. That's not folklore, it's hard science. Now, here's the part that makes this so urgent. If handled correctly, garlic may rival some of the most powerful modern drugs in supporting your health. But if handled carelessly, it can quietly undo years of effort, leaving you at risk without even realizing it. That's why in this video, we're pulling back the curtain on 6 little-known mistakes with garlic, errors almost no one talks about, yet every senior deserves to know. And I promise, you'll want to stay until mistake number 1. It's the most common and the most dangerous. So let's begin. Your health, your energy, even your longevity could depend on avoiding these traps. Let's begin with the first mistake. And while it may not sound like the most obvious one, it could be the most dangerous of all. I'm talking about how garlic is stored, especially when fresh garlic is minced and left soaking in oil at room temperature. At first glance, it feels like a clever kitchen shortcut. A jar of homemade garlic oil, ready to drizzle on any dish. But here's the hidden danger. When raw garlic is submerged in oil and left out on the counter, you've just created the perfect breeding ground for a silent, deadly bacterium, Clostridium botulinum. This is the organism responsible for botulism, one of the most severe forms of food poisoning. Why? Because this bacterium thrives in oxygen-free environments, exactly like garlic sealed in oil. A study in the Journal of Food Protection found that leaving garlic oil mixtures at room temperature for just 48 hours can increase toxin levels by over 400%. And here's the terrifying part. The toxin has no smell, no taste, no color. You won't know it's there until symptoms strike, first blurred vision and dry mouth, then progressing to muscle paralysis. Without urgent medical care, it can lead to respiratory failure. So what's the safe path? If you truly want to make garlic oil, it must be stored in the refrigerator and used within a week. Better yet, make small, fresh batches. For maximum safety and flavor, try roasting whole garlic cloves in olive oil, then immediately refrigerating them. The heat kills off bacteria, and the cold keeps the mixture safe. Remember, don't let a little convenience turn into the most dangerous mistake of all. Mistake number 2, mixing garlic with diabetes medication. Next on our list is a mistake that impacts millions of people worldwide, combining garlic with diabetes drugs. On the surface, this seems harmless, maybe even beneficial. Garlic is known for its ability to naturally lower blood sugar. Sounds like a good thing, right? But when paired with prescription diabetes medications, that benefit can turn into a health crisis. The National Institute of Diabetes conducted a study following individuals with type 2 diabetes who regularly consumed garlic supplements along with their prescribed medication. The results were startling. 31% of patients experienced dangerously low blood sugar, with 9 requiring emergency hospitalization. Here's why. Allicin, the active compound in garlic, enhances insulin sensitivity, helping cells absorb glucose more efficiently. But if you're already on medications like metformin or insulin, adding large amounts of garlic can create a compounded effect. Blood sugar levels can crash rapidly, leading to confusion, dizziness, seizures, or even loss of consciousness. The good news is you don't need to cut garlic out of your life. You just need to use it wisely. If you have diabetes, avoid eating garlic on an empty stomach. Instead, pair it with meals. This slows absorption and prevents blood sugar from dropping too fast. Start with small amounts, maybe just 1 clove a day, and monitor your glucose closely for the first 2 weeks. Most importantly, always let your doctor know if you're regularly consuming garlic. They may need to adjust your medication to keep you safe. Garlic can be a powerful ally in your health journey. But like any strong ally, it must be handled with respect and guidance. Mistake number 3, eating raw garlic on an empty stomach. This is a mistake that has sent countless people rushing to the emergency room, doubled over in pain. For anyone already dealing with digestive issues like ulcers, gastritis, or inflammatory bowel conditions, eating raw garlic on an empty stomach can be catastrophic. The very compounds that make garlic a powerful medicine also act like corrosive chemicals when they meet vulnerable tissue. A study from Sioux National University followed 89 patients with gastric ulcers who consumed raw garlic. The results were alarming. 42% experienced severe internal bleeding, and nearly 1 in 5 required blood transfusions. Why does this happen? Allicin and other sulfur compounds dramatically increase stomach acid production while stripping away the protective mucus lining. One Miami gastroenterologist recalled a patient who ate 3 raw cloves every morning to boost her immunity. No one knew she already had an ulcer. One morning, she collapsed with sharp, stabbing pain and began vomiting blood. The garlic had essentially burned a hole straight through her ulcer, forcing surgeons to operate immediately. And it doesn't stop at the stomach. For those with Crohn's disease or ulcerative colitis, raw garlic can spark violent flare-ups that last for weeks. One man, just 34 years old, had enjoyed 2 years of remission from Crohn's until he began eating raw garlic daily. Within days, he was hospitalized with severe intestinal bleeding. So what's the solution? You don't need to give up garlic entirely. But you should never eat it raw on an empty stomach if you have digestive conditions. Always pair it with food, ideally something soothing and alkaline, like milk or yogurt, which can buffer the acid. A gentler option is lightly cooking garlic. This reduces the harsh sulfur compounds by about 60% while preserving most of its benefits. Another smart choice is aged garlic extract. The long fermentation process transforms those aggressive compounds into milder forms, proven in studies to still support heart health without tearing apart the digestive tract. Mistake number 4, eating garlic before surgery. Now we arrive at a mistake that could truly put your life at risk: consuming garlic before a medical procedure. Garlic is one of nature's strongest natural blood thinners. That's normally a blessing. But when surgery is involved, it can be disastrous. Imagine this: something as innocent as a garlic buttered roll could turn a routine procedure into a bleeding emergency. A comprehensive review published in the New England Journal of Medicine examined thousands of surgical complications. They discovered that 8.7% of excessive bleeding cases were directly linked to garlic consumption in the week leading up to surgery. Patients who ate more than 2 cloves per day experienced prolonged bleeding times by as much as 250%. And here's where it gets truly dangerous: when garlic interacts with other blood-thinning agents like aspirin, fish oil, or vitamin E. The effects can multiply to terrifying levels. One case documented a patient who had all 4, garlic, aspirin, fish oil, and vitamin E, in his system. A simple tooth extraction spiraled into uncontrollable bleeding. The oral surgeon, despite every effort, couldn't stop it. That's why the protocol is non-negotiable: stop all garlic consumption, fresh, cooked, or in supplement form, at least 10 full days before any surgery or invasive procedure. And yes, this applies not only to major operations but also to dental work, biopsies, even colonoscopies. Always inform your doctor, surgeon, or dentist if you've been consuming garlic. And in the case of emergency surgery, tell the medical team immediately so they can prepare blood products and clotting agents in advance. This isn't a risk worth taking. 1 clove of garlic, at the wrong time, can be the difference between a smooth recovery and a life-threatening complication. Mistake number 5, overloading on raw garlic. This next mistake is shocking, and yet it has quietly sent thousands of people to hospitals, often unreported. In recent years, a dangerous trend has surfaced, eating entire bowls of raw garlic in one sitting, under the illusion of detoxing or supercharging immunity. But what many don't realize is that this practice can cause chemical burns, blood disorders, and even organ damage. At Stanford University Medical Center, doctors documented 67 cases of garlic poisoning in just 2 years. Most patients had consumed between 15 and 30 raw cloves daily, believing that more is better. The outcomes were devastating. 23 people suffered corrosive burns in their esophagus requiring endoscopic intervention, while 11 developed severe anemia so life-threatening they needed blood transfusions. Here's the frightening mechanism. At normal levels, allicin is healing. But at excessive doses, it becomes a powerful oxidizing agent, tearing through red blood cells with oxidative damage. One hematologist explained that garlic-induced hemolysis, the breakdown of red blood cells, can occur within 72 hours of massive consumption. Patients arrived with dark, cola-colored urine, crushing fatigue, and critically low hemoglobin levels. So where is the safe line? Most research agrees, no more than 4 raw cloves per day for a healthy adult, and even then, they should be spread throughout meals. In truth, the therapeutic sweet spot is far smaller, just 1 or 2 cloves a day. Beyond that, the risks rise steeply while the benefits plateau. Garlic is powerful, but it demands respect. When it comes to this ancient medicine, more is not better, smarter is better. Mistake number 6, taking garlic while on blood-thinning medication. And now we arrive at the most dangerous mistake of all, combining garlic with prescription blood thinners. For patients on drugs like warfarin, clopidogrel, or newer anticoagulants such as apixaban, adding medicinal doses of garlic can be deadly. Medical literature has documented numerous fatalities from this very interaction. In fact, the American Journal of Hematology published a meta-analysis of major bleeding events in patients taking both garlic and anticoagulants. The findings were chilling. 71 cases of intracranial hemorrhage were identified, with a mortality rate of 34%. Behind those numbers are real human tragedies, accidents that could have been prevented. What makes this so treacherous is the unpredictable synergy. Garlic doesn't just add to the drug's blood-thinning effect, it can amplify it, pushing clotting times far beyond safe limits. And the danger isn't reserved for massive amounts. Even modest doses can tip the balance. A case in Toronto described a woman who permanently lost vision in one eye after enjoying nothing more than garlic bread at a restaurant while on blood thinners. The truth is, bleeding can erupt anywhere, in the brain, the stomach, the joints, or the muscles. That's why the rule is uncompromising. If you are taking anticoagulants, you must avoid garlic in medicinal doses. This means no supplements, no raw garlic cures, no concentrated extracts. Small, consistent amounts in cooking are usually safe, but swinging between garlic feasts and garlic fasts can disrupt how your medication works. The only safe path is complete transparency with your doctor. If you hope to enjoy garlic's benefits while on blood thinners, it must be under strict medical supervision with close monitoring of clotting factors. For most people, though, the risk far outweighs the reward. Because at the end of the day, your health and your life are far too precious to gamble over something as simple as garlic. Respect its power, use it wisely, and never forget, even natural remedies can cut both ways. After hearing about the dangerous mistakes, you might be wondering, is garlic even worth the trouble? The answer is a resounding yes, but only if it's used the right way. When handled properly, garlic remains one of nature's most remarkable gifts, capable of transforming not just meals, but health itself. And science has shown us a step-by-step way to unlock its benefits safely, without the risks that send so many people to the hospital. The truth is, preparation is everything. When you chop or crush garlic, you're not just releasing aroma, you're activating chemistry. Inside the clove lies an enzyme called alliinase, which converts a dormant compound into allicin, the very substance responsible for garlic's healing power. But here's the secret most people miss: you have to let it rest. Leave crushed garlic exposed to the air for 10 full minutes before cooking or eating it. A study at Penn State University found that this simple pause increases allicin production by an astonishing 1,900%. Imagine less than the time it takes to brew a cup of tea, and you multiply garlic's strength nearly 20-fold. Then comes the question of heat. Raw garlic is potent, yes, but also harsh on the stomach, as we've already seen. Cook it too long or too hot, and you lose nearly everything that makes it valuable. But if you warm it gently, around 140 degrees Fahrenheit or 60 degrees Celsius, for no more than 15 minutes, you preserve about 82% of the allicin, while removing the digestive irritation. This golden middle ground was confirmed in a large study of over 3,700 participants, where lightly cooked garlic delivered the same heart benefits as raw garlic, but without the side effects. Timing also matters. To get the most from garlic, consume it with your largest meal of the day, ideally one that includes healthy fats like extra virgin olive oil, avocado, or nuts. The beneficial compounds in garlic are fat-soluble, meaning they absorb better when paired with fats. Research shows that this simple pairing boosts the effectiveness of garlic by another 45%. And what about dosage? Contrary to popular belief, more is not better. The scientifically validated dose is just 1 large clove per day. That's enough to lower blood pressure, cut cholesterol, and reduce arterial plaque without creeping into dangerous territory. Push beyond this, and you invite risks without gaining further rewards. To put all this into practice, here's a simple recipe that embodies the science. Crush 1 fresh clove, let it rest for 10 minutes, then mix it with a spoonful of extra virgin olive oil and a pinch of sea salt. Spread it onto whole grain bread and warm it briefly. The oil boosts absorption, the bread protects your stomach lining, and the flavor is divine. This, truly, is garlic as medicine. But maybe you're someone who can't tolerate raw garlic at all. That doesn't mean you have to miss out. There are gentler options. Aged garlic extract is created by letting garlic sit for months, during which time its aggressive sulfur compounds transform into milder, stable ones. Studies have shown this extract retains cardiovascular benefits while being far easier on digestion. Then there's black garlic, garlic that has been slowly fermented until it turns dark, sweet, and almost caramel-like. Black garlic contains twice the antioxidants of raw garlic, with none of the burn. To illustrate how transformative this can be, let me share the story of Eleanor White, a retired teacher from Portland, Oregon. At 68, Eleanor was struggling with high blood pressure and creeping cholesterol numbers. Her doctor was already discussing adding a second medication. But Eleanor remembered her grandmother's tradition of using garlic daily. Determined to try a natural path, she didn't simply start chewing cloves by the handful. Instead, she did her research and followed the science. Every evening, she prepared 1 clove just as described, crushed, rested, then gently warmed with olive oil and spread on bread. Within 6 months, Eleanor's blood pressure dropped from 152/92 to a steady 126/78. Her cholesterol fell by nearly 20 points. And here's the remarkable part, she achieved all of this without stomach pain, without dizziness, without the risks we've been warning about. When her doctor looked at her blood work, he was stunned. Eleanor laughed and said, "It wasn't magic. It was garlic, prepared the right way." Her story isn't unique. A meta-analysis of 26 clinical trials published in Nutrition Reviews found that properly prepared garlic consistently lowered systolic blood pressure by an average of 8 points. Rivaling the effect of some first-line medications. Another study showed it reduced bad LDL cholesterol by 10 to 15% in participants who consumed the equivalent of 1 clove daily. So yes, garlic can heal. But only when we respect both its power and its limits. It is, in every sense, like a double-edged sword, able to cut down disease or harm the very body we want to protect. The message is simple, start small. Respect the waiting time. Cook it gently. Pair it with healthy fats. Use no more than 1 clove daily unless guided by a physician. And if you can't handle fresh garlic, explore aged extracts or black garlic instead. Because when handled wisely, garlic remains one of the most potent gifts nature has ever placed on our plates. It can strengthen your heart, ease your vessels, and lower your pressure, not through pills or prescriptions, but through a humble clove prepared with care. So as you step away from this video, remember Eleanor's story. Garlic did not just season her meals, it restored her hope. And it can do the same for you. And there you have it, my friends, you now hold the knowledge to turn garlic from a hidden risk into a true ally for your health. Together, we've uncovered 6 dangerous mistakes to avoid, from improper storage to life-threatening drug interactions. And we've also learned the safe, science-backed ways to prepare and enjoy garlic so it can protect your heart, strengthen your digestion, and support your overall vitality. But remember, this journey isn't about fear. It's about empowerment. It's about realizing that small, thoughtful choices in your daily life can ripple into decades of stronger, healthier living. Sometimes, the path to longevity begins not with big, dramatic changes, but with a single decision made in your kitchen. Now I'd love to hear from you. Have you ever made one of these garlic mistakes without realizing it? Do you have your own special way of using garlic that works well for you? Share your stories and experiences in the comments below, because your wisdom could be exactly what helps another member of this community. And if you found value in today's journey, don't forget to subscribe to Wise Elders Tales, tap the like button, and hit the notification bell so you never miss another story that could change your health and your life. Together, we are building more than just a channel, we are building a circle of wisdom, a place where knowledge is shared across generations. Stay with us, stay inspired, and above all, stay well.